Okay, the checker flag has flown and the race is over, and now we're gonna rant about it. My name is RB Turner, and here with me is my co-host. It is, say your name, Colby.
I'm Colby.
He is Colby Peterson, and we are here right now with last night's AMP Cup Series racing winner from Richmond last night. This is, well, before I introduce him, I just want to ask everybody in the chat, did y'all know it was possible to beat Aaron Ryan? It is a fact. It is a fact. We are here right now with the man that did it last night. This is the other guy in AMP that's almost impossible to beat sometimes. This is Steven Laskowski. What's up, man?
How we doing tonight, guys?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Victory Monday.
Victory Monday.
What's that like? I've never heard of that.
That's not too bad.
Is it a national holiday where you live?
Hey, it was nice today. I was able to smoke a bunch of food, so
Nice.
it was a good Victory Monday.
It is that time of year, start getting outside. Of course, you can't talk about that with RB. He doesn't know what that's like.
Well, every day is that type of year in Florida, man. So,
Man.
all right.
Interesting race last night, Steven, to say the least, I think. Seemed like you spent a lot of time chasing, but once you got the clean air, it seemed kind of self-explanatory from there.
Yeah, I kept starting on the outside, and on cold tires, I could just not connect the outside. I was just babying it through the corners, so I kept losing spots every restart. So then finally we got a little bit green, was able to work my way up, get behind them, and slowly pick them away.
Yeah, I struggled in the outside too, right from the very get-go. I think I lost 10 spots in 5 laps. So it was awful.
Yeah, especially if they get that line on you and they just keep coming. It's hard to get down.
A lot of people were seriously overdriving it too. Like my braking point, like I understand I brake earlier than most people, but oh my God, some of those people. I didn't know how I didn't get slammed into every single lap.
It almost seemed hard to take the inside because of that too, though. Like if you were going to try to hit your, if you were going to hit your, if you were going to hit your lift point and your braking point, and you had somebody within relative distance behind you, it was super easy. And I mean, I was guilty of driving in a little bit harder, but I felt like I was lifting and braking pretty early too. I mean, there's a couple laps I followed you, RB, and I was braking before you were, But then, yeah, like you'd get somebody behind you, and all of a sudden, all you could see in your rear view was their windshield, and it was enough to make you, kind of tense up a little bit. But
I had a couple brown moments.
Yeah, the rear ending part didn't seem to be the issue, though. It was that overdrive, dive bomb, wash up, and just making contact at all the wrong spots because of how loose it gets off of turn 2. I mean, if you make the slightest contact off of 2 to the inside of somebody, they're going around.
So, Steven, talk about your race a little bit. How'd you get up there, man?
Well, Richmond's one of my more favorite tracks. I seem to do very well at this track. Practice really hard on managing my tires. With the extra horsepower, you could really tear the rear up on exit. And like you guys were saying, overdriving it, you would just destroy that right front. So I was really just trying to practice to get the right amount of entry and the right exit to not kill them, but still be fast enough to continue on. And when we got to those, when tires started falling off, we had a bunch of heat cycles on them. I was noticing that I was able to start to catch them pretty quickly. And I picked them off pretty fast after. I think they tore them up a little bit. I could tell they were driving in a little bit hard too. Kind of driving that outside line a little bit makes you tear it up a little bit harder. So I just really tried to manage my tires and stay out of the wall and not spin it.
A fine line between spinning out off of turn 2 or clobbering the outside wall.
Yeah, I found if you could run 4th gear and get like a good 50% gas when you got on, it would turn you pretty good. And as soon as you started turning, you could really kind of push on it and straighten your wheel out. And it would just send you right perfect. So I was able to use the rear tire more on exit with that extra horsepower. It helped me turn the car more.
Maybe that was my problem. I ran the whole damn thing in 5th gear.
I know I had to shift. I was like, I have to do that. I couldn't keep it in 5th.
I kept it in 5th. I ran 5th gear the whole time. But I don't like I will shift as little as possible no matter where we go because I just hate it.
I tried a couple of laps in practice shifting. But I ran my best lap was a 21.49. And it was all in 5th gear. But I mean, of course, like some of y'all were running 21 ones in practice, and I was obviously nowhere near that.
Yeah, you could definitely get off the corner faster if you could put the power down without spinning. It was definitely faster in fourth gear.
Did you say you ran the whole race in fourth gear, or were you shifting into fifth on the front stretch?
Yeah, I was
He was
shifting
definitely
fourth
going to
to
fifth.
fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
There's no
the
way.
whole race. Right off the get go. I was fourth and fifth.
Fourth in the corners and fifth on the straightaways?
Yeah, backstretch you would shift in the fifth. I would be in it for maybe a second and a half, and then downshift right back to fourth.
Okay. I'm going to put that in my proverbial notebook for next time we race at this place.
And try to get that brake bias as low as possible.
Right. So it seemed like you had to shift with the old horsepower package, otherwise you lost all of your momentum.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
yeah, no, I think with more horsepower, it's some tracks you won't have to shift like we used to, but yeah. I think you still will benefit from shifting on certain tracks.
I think I try to stay in a gear as often as possible, probably at a point in my ability still where I think learning how to maintain the momentum is probably a little bit more important than trying to go fast at this point, trying to keep the tires underneath it, stuff like that, right? Trying to understand when and where to lift, where to brake, how much turn you put into the car. You know, it's like I said, the couple of times I did shift, I had a hard time getting off the corner because I don't understand how to throttle trace yet, you know, and I don't think I'm smart enough to get into my Moza pit house and change my throttle trace in that way, so that even if I am mashing it to half throttle too soon, it still kind of gives it that curvature upward. But I don't know, man. You're ignorantly fast. I have
ignorantly fast.
I have a phrase I like to tell you every time I talk to you, and I've already said it today, so I'll leave it alone. You know, I've already said it this evening. I'll leave it alone. But yeah, so you constantly, week in, week out, are battling with Aaron and Barr and a couple of, you know, just, it's pretty simple to say, just plain old front runners at the front of every race we go to. It doesn't matter if it's a drafting track or intermediate, short track, road course. Give us a little bit on your preparations from week to week. You know, how much seat time are you spending to get ready for these races and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I would say for Richmond, with the new package and everything, I would say I probably practiced at least close to 3 hours, probably.
That's fair. That's fair.
And like the way I prepare is I try to go out there and I'll learn. If I don't know the track or I don't know the greatest line yet, I'll run it nice and slow. But once I figure out the line, I run it as hard as possible. Try to figure out how hard I can throw it in there, how hard I can hit the gas, and I'll run like a half a fuel run. Then after that, I go in and check my tires, see kind of where they were, and then I change how I drive from that, or I'll change my brake bias or my pinion set or whatever to fit my driving style. And then I try to just rein them into the center and see where I feel like my pace will be. And then sometimes in the race that changes. Depends on like if Aaron's pushing hard, you know, it makes me push harder. I'm sure it's the same way. The other way.
Weird. It's weird how that works.
So sometimes the practice goes out the window during race. I've noticed I've done that many times, and it's kind of has hurt me.
But it's good though, you know, you go out and you run as hard as you can for a while. Like I do that too, just to try to learn the limits of the car, see what I can and can't get away with, you know. So absolutely, that's, you know, that's a smart thing to do. I think more people should do that. Really, it'd make them better.
Wish I had a better understanding of like the brake bias and pinion stuff. You know, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of tire management and stuff, but that's because I'm not that fast, right? So it would be easy for me to say, oh, I saved more tire than you did that last run, but I also was a second slower. And that seems to be the case, especially since the update and the tire model, what was that, a couple releases ago when they went in and messed the tire up pretty good. I shouldn't say messed it up, messed with it pretty good. So how long have you been on iRacing, and when did you finally start to turn that corner into the guy that we race with every weekend, that it's like, it doesn't matter what track we go to, Steven's going to be a threat?
I think I've been in iRacing for 6-7 years, probably about. My old teammate, Muscarella, he was the one that got me into it. He actually helped me with my first PC. He had an extra one and let me use it and got me into it. And then I really just fell in love with it. So then here I am with a couple $1,000 worth of equipment sitting around me. The endless rabbit hole that we like of sim racing. But I've I've always loved racing. I've always been a Gran Turismo guy. I've always raced. It's been on console, even on controller. It's just been a passion of mine. And then I actually really got humbled when I came to iRacing. I thought I was, top dog. But then I really got humbled really quick because there's a lot of very fast guys in iRacing. Very fast.
I remember when I first got on
iRacing.
Whenever I first got on iRacing, and I was running as fast as I could, and I was getting smoked by people, and I'm like, they got to be cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way they're not cheating. And then all of a sudden, I figured a few things out, and now I do that, and people will say that I'm cheating if I'm up against the same caliper driver that I was. They're like, there's no way you could be doing that. You got to be cheating. No, dude, I ain't cheating. So I know what that's like.
Yeah, you just kind of find those little tricks, not scuffing your tires, and not turning your wheel those extra 2 degrees because it'll tear them up. Use your gas to turn the car more. Just find the lateral grip in road racing. Find those points and just
do some
practice.
dirt races. Dirt races will teach you to steer with your feet.
Yes, it will. It'll teach you throttle control like no other. Like at Richmond, going off the corner, like it's kind of was like coming off the corner with a late model. It's like kind of how much feathering you're doing until you're almost straight to where you can match the gas.
Yeah, man. That's the secret, A little throttle control. Do some super late model dirt races, and that'll teach it to you.
God, I hate dirt racing.
Run everything.
Yeah.
I run iRacing.
I run so many disciplines, so many different types of cars, and I think it really just helps in all aspects, even in oval, even road racing.
I've noticed that the more time I spend just in the seat to begin with, right? And it doesn't mean, I get really into the BMW, that M2 Cup thing, and I've learned quite a bit about road racing in that sense of understanding apexes and stuff like that better. And then once you can translate over the break points into a stock car, it makes stock car road racing a lot more fun. I cannot dirt race though. I don't know what it is. I remember when I first got my iRacing stuff set up, I tried a couple of dirt races with I had a G920, so it was the belt driven wheel, and I had the hardest time. And but then I got my Moza and I started doing it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. I get a little better. And then you race dudes that use Logitech like Aaron and Davis and those guys, and they kick your ass with that wheel on a dirt track, and you're like, okay, maybe I just am not good at this. But it makes it a lot of fun.
Practice.
Yeah, gotta practice.
God, I did 2 hours worth of practice for Richmond the other night too, and I still finished 26th out of 27 cars, and the 27th car wasn't running.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to finish somewhere.
Yeah, somebody's got to finish last.
Somebody's got to finish last. Somebody's going to win the race.
Yeah.
Somebody's your favorite line. Somebody's got to finish third. Somebody's got to finish 26th. So
still one of the best NASCAR races that I've watched on television and actually listened to the interviews and stuff. Steven, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? You got a family, you married, you got kids. Give us a rundown of who Steven is when that headset comes off and you turn off the PC.
I'm a 41-year-old father of 2. I have a son who is 5, daughter who is 17, Tristan and Sydney. My wife, Kirsten. We have been together for ages, and it's been a wonderful 15 or so years out there. I think we're close to that.
You might want to figure this. You might want to figure that out by the end of this episode, brother.
You won't be mad at me. You even forget. Sometimes we even forget how old we are. Quick story: when my son was born, he was born actually on my birthday, which was a fantastic thing. And then coming to my next birthday, his first year, I was like, man, I'm going to be 37 or 36. And I'm like, wait a second, no. I'm going to be 37 because of the being in the hospital. My wife had a C-section. So it's like, I didn't even add that number.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It's wild how the outside, time doesn't exist when you're in, because both my kids were born C-section, and it was like, you just sign up for 3 days. You bring, I brought my Fire Stick that had YouTube TV on it so I could watch hockey, and the amount you learn from the first kid to the second kid, and I had mine relatively close together, and then my daughter's a COVID baby, so the hospital experience was wildly different, right? But it is funny how that time just doesn't exist when you're in there. And like you said, a birthday comes and goes, and you leave the hospital. I'm still 35 or still 36 or whatever,
Right.
It is pretty wild how that works out, man.
My UPS driver is a day job. I had surgery last September, end of last September on my wrist. I had a pretty extensive wrist surgery, and I'm finally able to start to get back in the swing of things, start to actually pick things up again and use my right hand on my wheel and actually turn my force feedback back up because I'm not using one hand anymore. So that's always fun.
You should, though. You had a cool nickname. We can't call you the one-armed bandit no more.
I know, right?
That's a cool name,
Damn near messed around and won a championship one-handed last season.
Yeah. Almost wrecked the field a couple times, shifting in the first gear also.
Hey, we've all done it.
It happens to all of us. It happened to me coming up just behind the field at the iRacing Super Speedway, coming up, catching the field after a pit stop, and just twitched. That twitch, and double shifted down into first and blew the motor. And I was like, well, I guess that's all of that. So
I think I did the same. Pretty sure I blew my motor by catching up to the field, and I actually hit the thumb button instead. But now I'm back on the sequential, so I'm good now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Always good to see people getting better, especially stuff like that. I mean, that wrist surgery, some people will hear that and be like, my God, it's been that long and you still can't pick up a box. But explain that a little bit, kind of what was going on there, because from what I understand and what I remember visiting with you about, it was a pretty serious undertaking.
Yeah, I had a tear of what is called the TFCC. It's the trifibrocartilage complex in your wrist. It kind of holds like the ulna bone in the joint and a whole bunch of other stuff. And that had major micro tears, like multiple micro tears in it, to the point where my ulna bone was like sticking probably a good inch up out of it. So it was just, everything was just moving and practically destroying itself. My wrist was practically falling apart. So yeah, it was a pretty extensive reconstruction. There's a bunch of anchors in there, and cartilage just doesn't heal good. And this is it's a very delicate recovery because of how small the cartilage is and how much was torn. They had to almost overlap my two bones in my wrist. So that caused a delay in my recovery also, because that caused more pain as I'm trying to do my therapy.
Rehab and stuff like that. But it's just nuts. And I mean, it's not like you went and did this to yourself on purpose, right? It's just a repetitive use, day job, everything that we do in what I consider, a high move, very high movement job, right?
Yeah.
I've been, I don't work for UPS, but I've been doing tires for so long, and you have a lot of that same, the aches and pains of the wrist and the knees and the ankles and the lower back and stuff like that. And it's not that you're out trying to get hurt. It's just doing what you do every day is miserable on your body.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
What else we got, RB? Steven, correct me if I'm wrong. You did win the season 2 championship, correct? Bastard.
Asshole.
And I actually won, I think I won Richmond that year too. So maybe I can, maybe I'll repeat.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I remember last season's Richmond race, you tried so hard to bump and run Aaron going into turn 3 at the end of the race.
Yeah, I remember I tried, but I let up because I was afraid to just flat out wreck him, and I didn't want to do. So
you still hit the shit out of him.
Yeah, but I could have hit him harder and actually pushed him up. But like I said, I was afraid to just wreck each other. So
that's one thing I want to visit with about you is like I thoroughly enjoy racing around you, whether it's because I'm accidentally at the front or when you're coming to put me my 17th lap down. It feels like most times by the time you pass me, and like you're genuinely one of the good guys in the league. A good guy can mean a lot of different things. You are a really good racer. You're a very consistent racer. You're a very competitive racer, and I think a lot of that lends itself to your talent on the racetrack. And again, like I said earlier, amongst all disciplines of racetracks that we race in this league too, right? But in your very, very rare off day, you're not overdriving because you're pissed off at anybody in particular. Seems like you were very good at just kind of taking the medicine of like, hey, this is just not today for me. And, because, I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm sure RB would agree with it. Aaron agreed with it last week. Like, I think all of us to an extent seem to when something happens and ruins our race, you start driving harder, you start driving angry, and I don't necessarily know that I've ever seen you really do that to the extent of ruining somebody else's day because you're having a bad day.
Yeah, I really strive on clean driving, tight, clean driving. And when I do screw up or by accident someone takes me out by accident, or we just racing an incident, or somebody throws a bad block and we get together, I might say it out loud on stream I might say some things that are angry, but I know if I keep up that, I'm going to screw up again. And with this new claim system, then there's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm subtracting points instead of gaining my composure and just trying to work myself back up without overdriving, just get back in the rhythm of things. Even when you're back and you're faster than people, sometimes you just have to take your time to get by people. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Sometimes I might give you a little shove, but it all depends on what part of the race it is. And if I know if I have a chance to make it back up there, I'll probably drive a little harder.
So, friends, does your iRacing car currently look like it's sponsored by a Microsoft Paint and poor decisions? Well, good news. Race Wrap Guy can fix that. With real-world NASCAR wrap design experience, Race Wrap Guy creates clean, aggressive, professional custom wraps that actually looks like they belong on a Sunday broadcast instead of a back row of a rookie lobby. And because we like you people, listeners of the Cool Down Lap podcast can get a $10 off discount for any iRacing wrap. Just mention the podcast when you order. And if you got a real race car that needs to look fast even when it's sitting still, you'll get $100 off any real race car wrap design too. Same deal, just mention the Cool Down Lap podcast. So stop showing up on the grid looking like a yard sale sign and let the Race Wrap Guy make your car look like it actually belongs there. Do y'all like that? I wrote that myself.
That was impressive. That was good.
That's what I was sitting here doing.
That was good.
Do you have a sponsor, Steven?
No, if someone's willing to, man, I'll take it.
Let's get Steven a sponsor.
Let's take it.
Get him a sponsor.
Let's get him.
The man's worth it.
I run GT3s, NASCAR. Let's go.
He wins everything.
And Formula.
All right. So
I love the Formula.
He does win in everything he gets in. It's absolutely insane. But no, and that's, we visited with Aaron a little bit about that in the financial side of our league. And, the amount of people that, I think that, because this is definitely the first season that I'm aware of that had a full board of sponsors for every race, all of the nuance, cautions, victory lane, all that
quick
stuff.
Too.
It was fast.
And it was done weeks before the season started, not a couple of days, and we just squeaked one last deal in. Like, it was done weeks before the season was even starting. And it's pretty insane to be a part of that, especially from my seat and the broadcast and the sponsors. And then, I know a ton of us spend hours practicing, hours trying to make a paint scheme look good, which now that I know I can have somebody else do that for me, I might have to tap into that. I might have to get in there. But
just mention the podcast, though.
Just mention the podcast.
Get your discount. I like discount. Do you like discounts?
Discounts are sweet, man.
Steven, do you like discounts?
Dude, I cannot pass up a bargain. Ask my wife.
We all like discounts.
Clearance sections. I'll go to like different stores just to hit clearance sections to see what they got.
God forbid they've got something that fits.
I'm straight to the wholesale store.
That's how it works for me. I'm a big guy. I go in that clearance section. I find a good looking T-shirt for half off because they're just tired of looking at it. I'm like, I'll take that. I'll take that deal. It's my favorite. It's my favorite section in a lot of stores, especially those stores you shouldn't be shopping in the first place. And then you cruise in and get last year's apparel line for half off because they're trying to clear rack space for the new season. Yeah, it's hard to pass up a deal.
Go get your winter coat for next year.
Right. Your Christmas decorations. I mean,
yeah.
You go into the Hobby Lobby on the 23rd of December and they want $73 for that tree. You go in there on the 28th and it's $15. You're like, okay.
Amazing how that works, ain't it?
It's nuts. And I think that's when you really start understanding corporate America and just how much markup is built into this shit. It is absolutely bananas.
It is crazy.
Another thing about you, Steven, that I thoroughly enjoy knowing is you, like myself, are a healer dad.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you get into them blue healer dogs? Did you just accidentally buy one like me and then ended up having them, or what?
Yeah, I rescued a Pitbull blue healer mix, and he was absolutely awesome. He lived till he was 18. He just recently passed last April, and he was like one of the best dogs. So when he started getting a little bit older, I wanted to get another puppy. I saw him slowing down, so I was like, all right, we gotta get another dog. And sure enough, Healer showed up, so I was like, yeah, let's go, let's get it. So we went and got one. So that was our second one, but she was full. She was a full. I think she is a little Australian in there.
Crackhead.
Oh, yeah,
you bought a crackhead
for sure. Yeah, this newest one. His name's Archer. He is a healer to the T. There's got to be something in his mouth. It's either your hand, a body part, or it's a stick, a ball. It's something. But yeah, they're fun. They're loyal. If you can handle them and train them, they're some of the best dogs. Very loyal.
I tell people my healer is, I've got a healer and a border collie, so I call them the same thing. They're working dogs. That's I think across all of those bloodlines, the Australian Shepherd stuff, border collies, healers, working dogs, and they require a job in order to be a good dog. Right now, I possess 2 working dogs and have no land, no cattle, no nothing. Right, so the amount of commitment on the outside of just having the dog and feeding it and making sure it, has water and stuff, the amount of commitment it takes, like you're talking about, to get that dog and get it trained to the point where it does know how to go and lay down and just be there for a minute, knowing something good's coming later type of stuff. It's a lot of fun. I think that the personality of a blue healer is something that I'll never be able to explain to anybody that doesn't have a healer or hasn't had a healer, right? Because they really do grow, and this is going to sound absolutely cynical and ridiculous, but they really do grow to be, and I know most dogs should be, but they really do grow into like a member of the family in a way. They develop a personality of a sibling or another kid, right? And I mean, my healer's 7 years old, and there are still days she does stuff, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, huh? But then they do cool shit too, like pay attention to your kids and knock them over before they get into the road. Not going to tell you how I know that story.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool stories like that out there.
He can't run inside.
Yeah,
he gets them all going.
Yep. The zoomies. You take 1 too quick step off the couch, and my dogs are up and like, where are we going?
Exactly.
It's insane.
Cannot get out of the room without them next to you.
And there's a lot of breeds where that's considered an anxiety move. And with these dogs, I think they're just literally a companion dog.
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, you're going, I'm going. Cool.
Yeah,
where are we going?
I don't think it's anxiety. I don't believe that my healers have anxiety at all.
Mine definitely has separation anxiety, but that's a whole different situation.
You're going to find out when you get your wiener dog that it's going to be licking the floor and stuff. And I heard that's an anxiety thing. It just starts licking the floor. I used to have a wiener dog. That's how I know that.
Yeah.
It was like, what are you doing?
I
think it was my sister that looked it up. Said, oh, it's because she has anxiety. I was like, really? I have anxiety. I've never wanted to lick the floor.
No, I've gone down the rabbit hole with it. I'm joining the cult, as my friend Holly likes to say. I'm picking me up a wiener dog next month, and I've definitely dove down the rabbit hole of what kind of, because I'm aware of a lot of their behaviors. You get around enough of them, and you know that some of them are very territorial, some of them are very protective of one person. So I've tried to figure out how to get ahead of that stuff and things like that. But I was talking to an old man at the bar that I go to a couple nights ago, and he goes, "You're getting a mini dachshund, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm excited, can't wait." He goes, "You ever been around working dogs? I seen a blue heeler, border collie." He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah, I have 2 of them." And he kind of got real wide-eyed and looked at me, and he goes, "You realize that mini dachshund is a blue heeler in a body this big, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll be fine then." He goes, "No, I don't think you understand. They're twice as stubborn, and they're a quarter of the size." And I'm like, "Oh, sick. Can't wait for this," right? But no, man, I'm looking forward to it. You can ask my wife, man. I have been down the rabbit hole for a week and a half now. Found out that they were, I got some really good friends here. This is their second litter. I was going to get one out of the first litter, but it wasn't quite the color that I wanted. And, I wanted a female. And when I was actually during our recording, if the listeners remember a couple weeks ago when I did this in a, suit and dress shirt, while we were recording, I got the message saying these puppies were born. So I've still got about 6 weeks before I bring it home. But I've dove off the deep end. It's probably not good for my financial or mental health, but we'll be all right.
Wiener dogs are They're pretty. Oh, they're cute too. You got to take them to the vet, and then they're like $1,000 every time you just walk in the door. Hey, $1,000. Cool.
Yeah. Well, one of those dogs. We already know where this is starting. Sign the check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to some race talk.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't really have anything. I was hoping you were going to.
Just waiting for your race talk, RB. Here you go.
Well, my race. Well, man, I wish that race would have been better for me.
Same.
It sucks because I went back to the back like almost instantly, and it's just every time I start to work my way up, I something happened with me and Jordan, and I ended up in the wall, and I got 6 minutes of damage out of that, and I didn't want to use my fast repair, and I was running okay. So, I was trying to get it fixed a little bit at a time. Then the stage happened. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to use it. I have faith in these guys. I'm just going to use my fast repair. It wasn't the next caution. And, they hit something else. Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me.
Been there.
There's been quite a bit of conversation about these last handful of races, and the Nashville was bad.
Well, I will say about with this race, everybody's talking about the new guys and everything. I didn't have a single problem with any of the new guys last night. Most of the problems that I had was with people that's been racing with us the entire time. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to, embarrass anybody. But just, I can't believe how hard some of these guys were driving into the turns, and they were causing problems. They were just driving right up into people and spinning them out. Because. Their brakes were failing, I think. So their tires are getting hot. Brakes were hot. Brakes do get hot on iRacing, believe it or not. And that'll melt your tires too. So you use too much front brake. It just heats up your brakes, heats up your tires, and you melt them more. And yeah, that's another thing. So
it's another part of the model that I'm really happy with iRacing as compared to like Steven was talking about earlier with some console games and stuff like that is, more than just the aerodynamics and the tires, like some of the mechanical stuff, it gets really spot on. Hot brakes, they don't stop.
Yeah.
Cold tires on a road course don't turn.
It's cold brakes don't like to stop either.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to get that immersion, I think. And there's plenty of money you can spend to get even more of it, right, Steven? I mean, there's some pedals out there that'll give you legitimate force feedback for your brake pedal.
Yeah. Get you on that ABS, they'll start vibrating like real ABS on you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I just upgraded my wheel, and I think it's definitely I think it can help. It's like I went from Fanatec to SimMagic, and I put the SimMagic wheel down to the exact same force that the Fanatec was on, and it was completely a night and day difference. Like you could feel the car so much more with the SimMagic hardware than you could with the Fanatec. And same things, like every time I started with the G29, got rid of that, went to Fanatec, and that going from belt driven to direct drive was fantastic. Like you feel so much more of the car. And I thought I was really pumped until I started doing research on the newer hardware. And SimMagic just really stuck out to me with their new Evo bases. So I sold the old one and upgraded. And I actually think equipment does help. It can help, but it doesn't teach skill or practicing.
Absolutely.
Or
we used
learning brake.
Used to have a phrase in high school baseball, and it was "Good night, I love you." It said a $300 bat can't fix a $3 swing, right? So you can buy, you can get into the $15,000 for a set of wheel and pedals if you really wanted to. You get all the bells and whistles and the shifters and so on and so forth. But if you don't have a hint of racecraft and understanding of corners and stuff like that, you can push the brake until you're blue in the face. It doesn't mean you're going to stop if you were doing 170 miles an hour into the bus stop at Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
So
fact, Jack.
Now, like I went from a G920 to a Moza R5 and noticed an immediate difference in drivability, but now naturally a lot of the talent part is still doing the catching up, especially recently. I look at the race results the last few weeks and I'm like, I do not suck this bad. This has got to be a fluke, And it is what it is. When you run where I run, you do end up getting mixed in with a lot of the problems of other folks, and sometimes you're the person that causes it. That's the pro and the con of running towards the back, which is just every bit as frustrating as anything else in the world. But I agree with you. I think equipment can help, especially when it comes to your talent level, your skill level, because if you've got, like I said earlier, if you've got 0 skill and you buy the highest end stuff, I think it's going to accentuate your lack of skill. If you're really, really, really good and you have an entry level wheel and pedals, you're still going to be really, really good. There's just going to be some people that might have inputs that just end up ahead of you somehow. Extra tools in the box, if you will.
Yeah, I know there's some 8K iRaters that still drive Logitechs. So it's not, like you said, it can help to your skill level.
I agree with that.
With that being said, there's a section of this that I want to try to remember to put in every week if I can help it. And it's really easy to do when Aaron's here. It's a little harder to do when he's not here. I almost forgot about it. But it is Aaron Ryan's Fun Facts. I know you guys know about these, or if you don't know about them, they are in the schedule that he posts every week. I think I always look at them. I don't know how many people do, but it's one of those things I just want to bring in that this week happens to be Aaron Ryan. Aaron Ryan has the fastest average qualifying speed in AMP at 190.153 miles per hour not at Talladega or Daytona, but at Michigan. How about that? You would think.
And then you got Steven with the slowest all-time qualifying lap.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. You got Aaron with the fastest average qualifying speed and Steven with the slowest. Well, not the slowest qualifying speed, but the slowest pole
speed.
Pole speed.
Chicago street course.
Did you know that, Steven?
No.
You didn't know that you had the slowest?
No.
Really?
Slowest average lap to set it on pole.
You were
80-something miles an hour at Chicago street course.
The slowest pole setting time of all of AMP history.
Chicago.
Is you.
And I didn't make it through turn 3. Zook pushed me, and Zook pushed me right through that corner.
Well, if you weren't driving so damn slow.
Funny guy.
Yeah, Steven, if you would just go faster, you wouldn't have so many problems.
Man, if I would have slowed down at Autodrome, maybe I would have won that dang race.
I was going to leave it alone, but since you brought it up,
how many races do you give away?
Dude, well, let's see. Charlotte, I had internet. The Roval, I gave that one away to Aaron. I felt I was quicker there, and I had internet problems. Stuff went crazy. I had to go off down.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then I practically stopped, so I was trying to close shit. And I just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. How mad did I get? I would say I was pretty frustrated. I was pretty mad at myself.
You seemed pretty calm.
Well, I knew I was at 15 at one point, and that's when I just had pitted, and he had come out, and I had about 7 seconds. So I slowed my pace down just a little bit, and I was just so focused on just driving my line, not spinning out, because Aaron had pressure tires on me. So I was just trying to keep my pace. Coming to that second to last lap, went off track that once. I was like, as it happened in my head, I was like, all right, I got like one more. And then the black flag popped up. I was like,
yeah, did it occur to you, like, hey, this is the last lap, I don't have to serve it?
No, because I had a chance to serve it. It was coming to the white flag.
I think you could have got away with it. I think they'd be like, well, because I mean, it was coming to it, but it was right there. I mean, you had to be like, should I got black flag? I got pit,
but it's not like there was green white checkered where you're. I mean, it's already not past.
Technically, on a green white checker, you have a chance to serve a penalty.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask this with the other admins,
because I mean, we were all just thinking you were just a solid dude.
I think you made a very stand-up man.
I think you could have won that race.
I had a chance to serve it, so I served it.
Well,
and I think in a cut and dry world, that probably makes a whole bunch of sense to a lot of people. But there's a lot of people that were like, "Why in the hell did you run off track out of the last corner and dip to pit road?" When you could have easily said, well, my line didn't allow me to get there. It would have been really easy for you to bullshit your way out of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not even bullshitting out of it. I mean, if you're like, say, a green-white checker situation, technically, on that white flag lap, when you're coming around, coming to the white flag even. There's the entrance to pit road coming to the white flag. Any time you can go in there, but the rule is inside of 3 to go.
I also had 4 corners of a black flag to go in the pit.
So you can justify it. I mean,
in my head, I still took second, so I did give Aaron a win. It is the fact that it's just I got the flag halfway in the lap and I just took it.
You're a stand-up guy. I think I would have been like, I'm going to chance it. I'm about to win this thing. I don't think.
And contrary to that point, just to play the devil's advocate here, though, you chance it. You're on the wrong side of a ruling with the admins, and you end up what?
Worst case scenario is I just get what the black flag gives me, which is the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, right.
Which is
so. I think
any race
you made a business decision.
Any race that I'm gonna win, that's the way it's gonna be anyway. I'm not gonna win a track that takes 2.5 minutes to get around. That's not gonna happen. Right. Or even a 1.5 road course. I'm not gonna have a 5-minute gap on the next guy in line. So to me, if I'm on the wrong, if they decide to take it away, whatever penalty I get is the exact penalty that I would have got,
Yeah.
Steven, it might have been a little, he took second to go ahead and serve it. Whereas the black flag would have put you, I don't know, last car on the lead lap or probably maybe a first car lap down, something like that. So you would have lost a lot more. You would have lost to me, which would have been a sad day on a road course to lose to RB.
Oh my God.
I remember I beat Barr coming to the line at the Charlotte Roval last season. And Barr got in a chat with me, and he said he had just got off the phone with his dad or something. I guess his dad is like, why'd you let RB beat you? It's like, oh, he got me at the very end. I got loose. I thought that was funny. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but I thought it was funny.
Oh, that's good.
Bar's somebody I shouldn't beat on a road course.
It's always fun to throw a little shade Bar's way, though.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes.
He wants on this podcast, I think, so bad. He's like,
he does too.
Second place. Gotta win, man. Gotta win. He says, I'm gonna buy it. Last night he's like, I'm gonna buy a hat. I'm like, cool, man, buy a hat. Yeah, I gotta get on the podcast though.
Finish first
on
race
work.
day,
Bubba. You gotta win the race, man. Can't just, I don't care.
Well, and the funny thing was is that off week we had for Daytona, and we were kind of, trying to put something together, and I reached out to Barr. I was like, you bored? And he didn't respond for like a half hour. And in that meantime, I reached out to Signature, and he was like, sure, why the hell not? And I was like, all right, sorry, Barr. You're going to have to do it the hard way.
I mean, he's good for at least a win, I'm sure. So,
yeah. Mile and a half.
One of these tracks coming up, Texas, Michigan.
I'm calling a mile and a half.
Yeah. He's good. He's good in those places. And I mean, he's good a lot of places. But I think with Barr and Steven, you could probably speak to this obviously better than I can for sure. But with Barr, it seems like those racetracks where he can really get out, stretch out, and really put in hard laps, he does seem to really thrive in those places. And then, I mean, there is the occasional road course. Well, he will just accidentally win a road course for fun. And his behavior and his mannerisms almost make it seem that way, You listen to his post-race interviews, and he's like, "Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it? That was fun."
That was actually a perfect impression of Barr.
Done fucked around and won a race. How about that, eh?
Yeah, he did awesome with at the last endurance race that we did, Mountain Panorama. Yeah, he had an awesome 4-hour stint. He did an awesome job. So did Zook.
Would you all end up second that deal?
Yeah, we took second. Our door number was, I think, 12 or 13.
Nice.
We finished with 24X, and that was it.
And what was it, a 12-hour race?
Yeah, 12 hours.
It's not bad at all.
It's very good. I would have had 24 in the first 2 hours if I would have lasted 2 hours.
Lasted the hill climb and the downhill.
Yeah. So what do y'all think of the Alex Bowman deal?
Vertigo. I had a friend that had vertigo. And
my mom has vertigo.
It was pretty rough for him for a while.
Yeah. You think he's going to come back?
I think only time.
I got a thing on my phone a little bit ago that says he's not coming back to at least April 12th.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And I'm like, he ain't going to be back by then.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to be racing the 88 at Darlington.
Nope.
Kind of tough deal, and I think it's a shame. I really like Alex Bowman. I know a lot of people don't, but I think a lot of that comes with driving the 48 car in the NASCAR Cup Series. I think he was just up against it to begin with. Think about this kid's career. His 2 NASCAR Cup Series cars have been the 88 and the 48. Like,
wow.
what are you supposed to do?
I mean, all you can do is, that's the cars they put him in. I mean, that's like, anybody taking over the 43 when Richard Petty was done,
Yeah.
Or I guess even, Austin Dillon taking over the 3.
24.
Or 24, perfect example. Yeah, that's a real good example.
To be fair, I mean, outside of the championships, I think Willie B's done a fantastic job kind of taking that torch and carrying it,
He's done good. He's not Jeff Gordon, but he's
hell, he's winning races.
iRacing boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. I raced him one time in a race. It was in an O'Reilly auto part car. Gotta call it what it is. It's a Busch Grand National car.
God, you're old.
Yeah, I am. But it was at IRP, and I remember he was racing. He was the number 1 car, of course.
Weird.
And he lapped the entire field. He lapped me twice, and he was coming to the checkered flag. I was coming to the white flag, and he was on my ass going into 3, and he went to try to pass me, and I'm like, you ain't lapping me again. And I'm like racing as hard as I can to keep in front of him so he don't lap me again. And I beat him by an inch. I felt like I won the race. I'm damn near 3 laps down, but I felt like I won the race.
But by God, you beat him off of 3 and 4.
He didn't lap me that 3rd time.
Yeah, I raced Raja Caruth in the truck.
I raced him in the trucks, yeah.
Yeah, he's very vocal too. He had fun. It was lots of fun. I actually raced him for a few laps too. So
I raced TJ Majors. That's really kind of my only one so far. Granted, I've only been on the service for a little over 2 years now, but I raced TJ Majors, and it was actually an elite race at IRP in trucks. That was a lot of fun. I've raced
Hermie Sadler. He's pretty cool. Elliott Sadler's brother, if you don't know who he is. He'll talk to you a little bit if you talk to him. I think somebody had mentioned in one of the races that he was in how they felt like Elliott Sadler was one of the most underrated drivers. And Hermie came on and he said, I'll be sure to tell him that. Shit.
That's cool.
I've raced Natalie Decker. She put me in the wall.
Weird. Wonder how that happened.
I was like, she didn't talk to me either. I was like, what'd you do that for? I didn't get nothing against you. But she never answered me. That was a couple years ago.
God, the way she screamed at Parker Retzlaff or Sam Mayer, I can't remember which. The cars look relatively similar. The way that she was screaming over the radio at Daytona a couple weeks ago when I think it was Sam Mayer when he kind of washed back up the track with no brakes, and she absolutely smoked his ass. And then started screaming at him. She had 15 seconds to slow that damn car down.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think anybody on iRacing would have said the same. What the fuck did you come back up the track for?
Why?
Every single person on iRacing would have done that too. Hold your fucking brakes!
I am sliding to the grass.
So, I mean, I kind of felt sorry for her. I was like,
my favorite one on iRacing is at like somewhere like Daytona and stuff, because when you go down, you hit that apron, your first instinct is to turn the wheel to the right, or at least mine is. And the longer I've been doing this, the more I focus on kind of holding it down. I'd rather spin into the inside wall and destroy my own race rather than wreck 40 cars on a super speedway. But that one's my favorite, is always, you see somebody hit that apron and you know exactly where they're going. And there's always that one dude, why'd you come back up? Every time. Well, man, sorry. I was trying to keep it straight and it didn't. And now here we are. So.
Yep. That's Natalie Decker, I kind of felt sorry for her. I was like, Jamie McMurray is like, well, she'd have been going slower.
I felt bad for the way Jamie came at her. That was uncalled for, especially from a position with a microphone. Like,
yeah, man.
Come on. But anyway, listen, let's get this 20-minute ball game started here. Steven, it's been a really good time having you. Like, these have been fun when the conversation just kind of flows, just group of buddies just kind of sitting around having a beer and bullshitting, right? And that's why we do this, I think. And RB and I, when we first kind of started this deal, a lot of it was like, hey, we want to just get to know some of these guys better. And then we went on to talk to Aaron Ryan for 3 straight weeks. But
we know his life story.
Yeah, the only thing we haven't done is had him play the guitar for us at this point. So
maybe next
listen,
week.
Steven, maybe next week. I mean, 190 something miles an hour. We'll see. But
you know what you got to shoot for.
Yeah.
You want to be
Good luck, Steven.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. And that sinister smirk. I love that shit.
Mister like 9 poles in a row or something stupid.
Yeah.
It was a good run.
It must suck to be fast.
Man, but I might be fast, but don't always win.
Yeah. But it is possible to beat the machine.
Like Lightning McQueen says, 1 winner and 42 losers.
If you ain't first, you're last. It's a neon sign my daughter got me for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
It is awesome.
But listen, man, appreciate your time. That is one thing that we really do appreciate is people's buy-in on this, because a lot of folks, it could be really easy to just be like, nah, don't feel like putting myself out there. No, don't really feel like this is my thing, or hey, I really don't like y'all. I really don't want to talk to y'all. Like, I'm waiting for that to be a thing. That's going to happen eventually.
It's coming.
It's going to happen eventually. And that's okay, because then RB and I will jump on here and do the exact same thing to that person, and it'll be a good time. But no, we appreciate it, man. Go ahead, give your shout-outs. Tell us who you're grateful for, and we'll go from there.
Man, it's grateful for my family, my health, the path that my wife and I have recently traveled to get healthy, family healthy, eat correctly. It helps mind, body, soul, everything. So really just a shout out to them, keeping it real and keeping us going straight. I appreciate them a whole ton.
I can get on board with that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. I appreciate everybody out there who's listening. Also, make sure you check out Race Rap Guy. He's really easy to find. All you got to do is click the description in this video and scroll down, and you'll see a little link to the Race Rap Guy. And if you click on that, it'll take you right to him. It's that easy. You can see a lot of his work is right there. I've been to this page. He's got a lot of solid work, man. He's good at what he does. So definitely check him out. Get your $10 discount just for mentioning us. The Cool Down Lap podcast. Or if you got a real race car, remember that you get $100 off just for mentioning us. That's all you gotta do, man. It's that easy. Yeah, definitely check him out. Link will be in the description. And
appreciate Amp Racing
League. I'm keeping it in there. Amp Motorsports Racing League.
Amp Motorsports Racing community. Good Lord. This has gone off the rails. Happens to me every week. Appreciate the platform, Signature Esports, for putting us on TV every Sunday. If you haven't followed or liked or subscribed or checked out what he's got going on, I swear to God, every time I get on Facebook, there's something else. Signature Esports is live doing something. It's not just racing. He streams a lot of other stuff too. A lot of fun. Really good dude. Give him a follow. Give him a like. Subscribe. Definitely check out and get to know his story, what he's been going through the last few months, last few years. He is still looking for donation if he can. If you got it, that's a good place to put it. Great human being there. I like, kind of tail off Steven for a little bit. I appreciate my family. Not only do they give me the hours a week that I sit in this chair with a steering wheel, but they let me sit down and do this. And, it gets a little challenging this time of night. It's, wrapping up dinner, getting showers, brush your teeth, get to bed. But they are super duper awesome with it. And letting me do these kinds of things and in all reality stuff I enjoy doing and I've wanted to do for a long time. So appreciate them. Appreciate Race Rap Guys. I will be on my way to check that out shortly because I could use some help. Outside of that, man, I think that's all I got. RB, why don't you take us on out of here?
Yeah. Also, if you didn't know about Signature Esports, the SE 1100 is coming up March 28th, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Saturday. March 28th. That is the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 in one day. We're going to do it in one day, man. It's a long day of racing. I've done it before. It's exhausting, but it's a whole hell of a lot of fun. And you guys should definitely join in on that if you can. It's $10 per race or $20 for both. And it goes to a great cause. I can't remember what cause he's doing it for, though. I think it's military.
DAV, I think is what it's called.
Disabled veterans.
We'll get back to y'all on that. We'll put this together a little bit better for next week.
Yeah, I promise. But it's a military kind of a thing. So that he's doing it for this year. So definitely check that out if you can.
You don't have to drive. You can just support. You can donate.
Exactly.
I'll reach out to Mr. Signature himself, see if we can't maybe get a donation link for that posted somewhere in our stuff leading up to that deal. His Signature really does put a ton of time and effort into this, and 100%. He takes care of a couple of things covering cost on his side, and then there's no such thing as a withholding or I worked really hard, I'm gonna take some. He makes zero profit off of these charity races that we do on his platform, and it's a ton of fun, and I would encourage you to drive if you can, watch if you can't. If you can't do neither, watch it back later, donate, do what you can there. It is a ton of fun.
Yes, sir. And thank you for that. Thank you, Steven, for being here. You didn't have to, but you showed up, and we appreciate it. We wouldn't have much of a show without you. We'd have to just sit here and, well, never mind. I can't say that.
Probably slander the fuck out of your character, really.
Well, I'm glad that I could be here for you guys. Glad I could be here for you guys.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.